Hello and welcome to my first 5-minute quick start tutorial video for Leo Whitefang. This is made with the assumption that you've already watched the official starter guide video and roughly understand what his specials and supers do already. In this series, I plan to cover Leo's moveset and how the different parts of it interact with each other. My goal is for these to be brief and informative, to cover things in bite-sized chunks to help people learn and get ideas for their own Leo playstyle. This first video covers front stance P and K ground normals and everything surrounding their usage. 5P. This is Leo's fastest normal at 5 frames. It's useful for challenging certain strings and resets, but it's also a surprisingly effective anti-air, even on trade. It's fast and whiff cancelable into itself, which makes it good for stuffing approaches. One useful trick with this is to execute 5P using 4P, so that way you can charge an S fireball. If you do this, you can whiff 1 or 2 5Ps to cover space, and then immediately throw a fireball to surprise the opponent the moment they think to try going for a poke or whiff punish. When you use 5P in a preemptive manner to try to stuff the extended hurtbox of something like a Far Slash, you can input an early 236S cancel that will only come out on hit, allowing you to get a real knockdown. Technically the 236S can come out on block too, but you're doing this 5P at a range where it will whiff unless the opponent presses a button or does something like dash at you. If you have to press 5P in a situation where it may be blocked, your options on block are sort of limited. You can special cancel, but at this range all of Leo's specials are punishable on block or by reaction. As a result, your best options are often canceling into command normals or nothing at all. Be aware that 6K can be thrown or even mashed out of if the other player knows how to do so its usage as a frame trap in this situation is limited. 2P. This move is pretty much the same in usage as 5P, with the following exceptions. It is slightly slower than 5P and a little more minus. The cancel window also seems perhaps smaller. 5P can be low profiled, but 2P cannot. It has a better low profile hitbox for anti-airing. And lastly, because you can crouch block without moving, it's a little bit easier to manage spacing with 2P Fireball than 5P Fireball. Other than that, pretty much all the same properties apply. 6P. This move is pretty straightforward. It has frame 1 upper body invuln, so you can use it as an anti-air or as an answer to neutral pokes. 5K. This move is your primary approach tool in mid-range. It's a forward-moving attack to begin with, so it allows you to suddenly cover a lot of space when done from a microdash. For the space it covers, 5K is pretty quick and will let you stuff many moves or force the opponent to block. On block, it's only -1 and has the option to frame trap by canceling into 6K, which sets up a pretty heavily advantaged strike throw mix-up. Canceling into 6K will also counter-hit throws, but if you want a really big punish, you can cancel into 6H for some really big damage. This works even with running momentum from 5K. 2K. 2K is one of Leo's main pokes and is also really strong Abare normal, in addition to being a low. It's a tad slower than other 2Ks, but what it lacks in speed it makes up for in range. On hit, you can combo into 2D for a hard knockdown into an unthrowable back turn S meaty, or into 6K. And on air counter hit, you can confirm directly into 214S for better knockdown or damage. Keep in mind though that this isn't an optimal punish, this is just done for example. Be aware though that there's a range where 2D and 6K will actually not work on ground hit. In that case, you have to 236S instead. Lastly, 2K is -5 on block, but if you frame trap them after this move enough times, using it like a stagger or a tick throw setup is actually viable. 6K. By this point, we've already mentioned several uses for 6K, usually as a frame trapping tool, but if 6K is block, it's -4. Despite being -4, the pushback on 6K, as well as how fast the hurtbox retracts on it, is so amazing that many attacks that could punish it often will whiff. Additionally, you can special cancel from 6K into a variety of things. One thing to note is that with the way special cancels work in Strive, you can choose whether or not to create a gap after 6K with 236S. This lets you delay the cancel really late to frame trap people who think you're going to do a pressure reset. Since 236S can be punished unless it's spaced really well, and 214S is fairly slow on startup, characters with faster normals may try to press buttons both before and after the special cancel. Sometimes you can take extra advantage of this though. One interesting note about special cancels is that they don't turn your character around. So for instance with that 5K trade, the only way Soul could get out of that situation would be to RC or Vortex. That about wraps it up for this video. Look forward to my next one. If you enjoyed the content here, please like and subscribe. Also check out my Twitch, Twitter, and Discord. See you later!